The average new SUV in 2026 costs over $38,000 and loses nearly half its value in 5 years. That's a brutal financial hit most buyers accept without thinking. But here's what's interesting. There are post-2017 SUVs under $15,000 right now that routinely cross 250,000 miles with no major drivetrain failures. The secret? Simpler engines, proven transmissions, and avoiding specific problem configurations most people don't even know exist. Today, we're breaking down 3 very recent, very cheap SUVs with serious long-term reliability and the exact versions you should target. Let's get straight to it. The 2018 to 2019 Mazda CX-5 with the naturally aspirated 2.5-liter engine is sitting in a weird market gap. It's modern enough to feel premium, old enough to be affordable, and simple enough to outlast most competitors. Right now, clean examples are trading between $12,000 and $15,000 depending on mileage. That's compact sedan money for a crossover that originally stickered near $27,000. Here's what most people miss. The non-turbo 2.5L Skyactiv-G engine avoids the long-term stress of forced induction. No turbo heat cycling. No high-pressure boost wear. It's direct injected, yes, but Mazda engineered the piston crown shape and combustion chamber specifically to reduce carbon buildup rates compared to early direct injection systems. That matters because carbon buildup is one of the silent killers in modern engines. On many turbocharged rivals, intake valve cleaning becomes a $60K, $80K mile expense. The CX-5's naturally aspirated setup significantly reduces that risk. Transmission? A traditional 6-speed automatic, not a CVT. Torque converter automatics historically outlast belt-driven CVTs when properly serviced. Fewer overheating complaints. Lower long-term failure rates. Here's the counterintuitive part. The CX-5 actually holds up better long-term than some German luxury SUVs that cost twice as much used. Simpler cooling architecture and less aggressive tuning. Yes, but there's a catch. Avoid the turbo version if you're shopping purely for longevity. The turbo adds complexity and raises cylinder pressure significantly. If long-term reliability is the goal, stick with the standard 2.5L. Maintenance costs? Below segment average. Parts availability? Rust protection? Better than older Mazda generations. This SUV doesn't dominate headlines. It quietly racks up mileage. And that brings us to number 2, the SUV that refuses to die. 2018 to 2020 Toyota RAV4, gas, not hybrid. The Toyota RAV4 is the best-selling SUV in America. That's not interesting. What is interesting? The 2018 to 2020 gas-only models are now widely available under $15,000 to $17,000 with reasonable mileage, and they're built on some of the most proven mechanical foundations Toyota has ever produced. Let's break it down. The 2018 RAV4 uses the 2.5 L2 ARFE engine in earlier years, a powerplant known to cross 300,000 miles when maintained. By 2019, Toyota updated to the A25A FKS engine. Higher compression, more efficiency, but still naturally aspirated and not overstressed. Here's the key. Toyota's dynamic force engines were designed with improved oil flow management and lower friction piston rings to reduce long-term wear. That's not marketing fluff, that's measurable engineering. Transmission? An 8-speed automatic introduced in 2019. Early concerns about shift hesitation were largely software-related, not hardware failure. The underlying gearbox design has proven durable. Now the hybrid is popular, but the gas model is the sleeper value. Hybrid resale values remain inflated due to demand. The gas model depreciated harder, even though reliability remains exceptional. Yes, but there is a specific production period in early 2019 where some RAV4s experienced transmission hesitation complaints. Most were resolved via software updates. When buying used, confirm the TSB updates were completed. Here's another overlooked advantage. The RAV4's cooling system layout is conservative. Radiator sizing, oil cooling pathways, and thermal management aren't pushed to the edge. That reduces long-term gasket and seal stress. In reliability studies year after year, RAV4 consistently lands at or near the top. But the resale curve is flattening right now, which creates opportunity. You're essentially buying into one of the lowest risk long-term ownership platforms under $17,000. But number 1? It's cheaper. And somehow even more durable. Now we get to the one that, quietly, is the smartest long-term play on this list. The 2017 to 2019 Honda CR-V with the 2.4-liter K24 engine. And before someone jumps into the comments, yes, 2017 qualifies. And yes, this detail matters more than you think. Because during these years, Honda offered two completely different mechanical personalities under the same CR-V badge. The 2.4L naturally aspirated K24. The 1.5L turbocharged engine. If you care about crossing 200,000 miles without expensive drama, the 2.4L is the one you target. Period. Let me explain why. First, the engine architecture. The K24 isn't some new experiment. It's part of Honda's K-series family that's been in production for well over a decade across Accords, CR Versys, and other global platforms. That means long-term durability patterns are already documented. We're talking chain-driven timing, no $1,200 belt service, conservative compression ratios, no turbo heat cycling, lower internal cylinder pressures, proven oil control ring design. And here's the deep insight most buyers overlook. Naturally aspirated engines operating below their stress threshold almost always outlast small turbo engines running near their mechanical limits. Turbo engines squeeze more power from less displacement, which means higher boost, higher pressure, higher temperature. Over time, that accelerates wear. The 2.4L K24 simply isn't working that hard. Now let's address the elephant in the room. The oil dilution controversy. The 1.5L Turbo CR-V made headlines for fuel mixing with engine oil, especially in cold climates. Honda issued software updates and extended warranties in some regions. But perception stuck. Here's the key. The 2.4L engine was never affected. But the resale impact hit the entire CR-V lineup. Buyers avoided the badge, not realizing the mechanical difference. That created a pricing inefficiency. In 2026, clean 2017 to 2018 CR-V 2.4L models are trading between $13,000 and $16,000 depending on mileage. That's thousands below what their durability profile suggests they should command. You're essentially buying a proven engine platform at a discount created by confusion. Now let's talk transmission. Yes, it uses a CVT. But here's where nuance matters. Honda's CVT design during this generation has shown significantly lower failure rates than early Nissan CVTs from the same era. The key variable is fluid maintenance. Change the CVT fluid every 30,000 to 40,000 miles and long-term reliability remains strong. Most catastrophic CVT failures across the industry are linked to neglected fluid intervals. And here's another overlooked strength. The CR-V's cooling system layout is conservative. The radiator capacity and thermal management aren't engineered at the edge of tolerance. Lower sustained heat equals longer gasket and seal life. Interior durability? Electrical reliability? Minimal recurring systemic issues. Parts availability? Massive. The CR-V is one of the highest volume compact SUVs in North America. That keeps parts prices stable and mechanics familiar. Now here's the mileage data point that matters most. K24 engines routinely surpass 250,000 miles in Accords and previous CR Versys with standard maintenance schedules. This isn't speculation, it's a long-standing pattern across millions of units globally. That's why mechanics trust it. And here's the final layer most people miss. Because this generation's CR-V isn't flashy, and because newer redesigns get the attention, depreciation has flattened. That means you're likely near the bottom of the curve. Which means you're not just buying reliability. You're buying reliability with reduced future depreciation risk. That's the difference between cheap and smart cheap. If long-term durability under $16,000 is your priority, the 2.4L CR-V isn't just a good option. It's the safest mechanical bet in this price bracket built after 2017. Here's the recap. Number 3 Mazda CX-5, non-turbo 2.5L. Traditional automatic. No forced induction. Under-stressed engine. Strong rust protection. Under $15,000. Number 2 Toyota RAV4, gas models 2018 to 2020. Proven 2.5L engine families. Conservative cooling. Software fixable early quirks. Massive parts support network. Number 1 Honda CR-V, 2017 to 2019 2.4L. Legendary K24 engine. Avoid the 1.5T dilution concerns. High mileage durability. Depreciation created opportunity. Notice the pattern? No exotic tech. No experimental transmissions. No overboosted small engines chasing fuel economy at the expense of longevity. These SUVs are cheap not because they're bad, but because the market is distracted by newer redesigns and hybrid hype. And here's the next question you should be asking. What are the specific trims and mileage thresholds that maximize resale protection 5 years from now? That's a deeper strategy. And that's exactly what we break down in the next analysis. Because buying cheap is one thing. Buying cheap and positioning yourself for minimal depreciation in 2031? That's the real win. Choose wisely.